What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show from the Valley to the Mountaintop podcast. I'm your host, Micah Gibson. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome. On this podcast, we interview business owners to see the ins and outs and what it took to build their particular business. I hope you brought your pen and pad because we have a special guest in the building. I'm going to let him introduce himself and his company. And while you're at it, sir, give us a little bit of background on your upbringing.
Yeah, man, this is Big Mack, best known as Mr. Blessed in the Streets out of Palm Beach County, Florida. My business is mobile handyman, well as mobile mechanic. I've been in the business going on 6 years. Come next month is our anniversary. Um, I've always been hands-on. I did 22 years of working for other people, which I call it like, school of hard knock, learns the ins and the out of, a part of the business, starting from the bottom of the barrel and working your way up to the top. I've learned all aspects of the business, being the customer, consumer, as they would call it, as well as being the owner, serving the customer. Customers always like the satisfaction, and that's what we always guarantee. For me, it's like I've always known I wanted to have a particular business where I serve people. I just never knew what it was coming up, but I always knew that I'd be passionate about it and I love doing what I do. And just one day, I just so happened to be working for a road construction company, and like I was a MOT supervisor, which is the person that put out the cones and the advance warning sign, letting them know that hey, there's road work ahead and stuff like that. And I pretty much, I'm a single father. I had two kids at the time, and I was given an ultimatum, because I gave them a heads up, letting them know I was going to have custody of my kids, and I just needed them to, not pretty much like hold my hand, but just work with me because, being a single parent, a single father at that, without no support system, no help, nothing like that, mother deceased, so I pretty much was in the world alone. It was just me and my kids. So for me, it was like, man, when they gave me the ultimatum whether I was going to be a company man or a father, I pretty much just put it in God's hands. Just went in my car that day. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, man. I'll just keep it blood raw and real. I just cried out to God and asked Him to take the wheel and lead me in the path where I might not lead myself with my flesh and my own understanding, but with His Spirit and His guidance. And He pretty much just started putting the ducks in a row for me, and I just started following. And I started my business out of the trunk of my car. I had a 2013 Chevy Malibu. I remember like it was yesterday when I had the little jobs that required me to build stations as such as like bar stations and stuff like that. I had to uh, make multiple trips back and forth on the job site just to get all my tools there and stuff like that. So it is, it's an honor. If I had to do it all over again, I would. I have no problem with that. But now we're here 6 years later, man. I got a fleet of vehicles, got guys working for me. Um, I ain't gonna lie, man. I've had my rough times within the business, such as dealing with customers with big projects that they change stuff around in the projects, and they know that they have to sign the new contract and stuff like that. And then towards the end, when it's time to pay, they give you a hassle, run for your money. So I had to take multiple customers to court in that sense, and I got final judgment. Had to put lien on their businesses or whatever asset they had, and forcing them to pay. There is a couple of them that, like, they still don't. I guess they don't have the fund to pay or whatever the case may be. But I'm still pushing. I'm still going, man. Like I say, I'm passionate about what I do, and I love what I do, man. It's just me. This all me right here, man.
Man, that's that's awesome. Now, I like to ask, why did you choose that particular business? But I see you chose several businesses to start. Now, explain to me why you didn't just take one business and run with it, and why did you decide to do all of these multiple businesses in one?
For me, it was like, man, I didn't want to be capped.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to put cap on myself or in my talent that God had blessed me with. So I say, you know what? Let me just create a business that's able to serve multiple departments. When it came to that, I said, I got to pick a business that's just gonna be just openly fluent to all the services, and I just came up with Blessing the Streets Mobile Services, and it just fit right in place, man. No forcing, no nothing, man. It's just smooth sail, man, type of situation. So it worked out for the best because in the beginning, like I would say, in the beginning of the business, we did the motor mechanic, the handyman, and then we also did lawn service as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently got rid of the lawn service department because I couldn't get guys to be dependable to run it, and
Mm-hmm.
me being my height and everything like that, working with the weed whacker, the edge and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and even with the zero turn machine, it took a lot of toll on my body and everything like that because I've done landscaping growing up and everything like that for other companies.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, man, it's take toll on my body. So I was like, you know what, I might well just not pretty much part my ways with it. And I just found somebody who just gave me an offer to take the whole entire either a truck, trailer, and equipment off my hand for a decent price, and I ain't questioning it. I just let it go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Now, take me back. Take me back to when you said you started out of the trunk of your car. Do you remember your first job that you got?
Okay, so my first job I got was doing brakes. I did a lot of vehicle maintenance when I first started. Working out of the trunk of my car. I had a jack. I had my tools to do the brakes. I had tools, do minor things when it comes to like light duty mechanical on vehicles such as brake jobs, tune-ups, changing the alternators, starters, oil, that sort of thing. So for me, it would been a full brake job on a 2001 Chevy Malibu at the time, and it definitely was a learning curve for me because even though I've always been hands-on type of individual, and I've done brakes on my own cars that I've owned, doing it on a 2001 Chevy Malibu, that particular car itself just had a lot of issues. So I kept running into speed bumps that kept delaying the job, and it was supposed to be a job that's supposed to take me no more than an hour and a half, um, doing it with a floor jack versus having it on a lift in the shop,
Mm-hmm.
to pretty much taking me like somewhere around three hours and a quarter just to finish all four breaks all the way
Mm.
around because it's just like the last person who dealt with the vehicle, they did some macabre, like some rigging and just some foul play with the customer's car. So it was like I had to do all the fixing, and it told my behind, man. But I'm satisfied that the customer was able to, what I'm saying, be in a better position to where they safety is no longer jeopardized, and they at a peace of mind able to drive their car, not having to worry about their brakes malfunctioning on them and then hitting somebody or hurting themselves or hurting anybody else, for that matter.
You're right. That makes perfect sense. Now, once you started, how did you go about obtaining your client? How did you go about obtaining your clients?
Ah, man, I was doing a lot of, cause see, okay, I've always been in my hometown and known for other things as such as mixtape DJs, a promoter, big time promoter, street promoter that hosting mixtapes and stuff like that, DJing at venues. So people knew me for doing those type of things. So the name was never unfamiliar where I'm at. It was just the servicing. When I came about, started providing the services, and I just went on social media, Facebook, Instagram, that sort of thing. And you had the Snapchat they posted on that every single day, just pretty much advertising myself, the business, and the stuff that I was doing, like taking pictures and videos of the jobs I was doing before and after type of ordeal. So it was like, damn, like, man, we known this man for many years to be doing DJ, like involved in the music industry, but this man is a jack of all trades, you know what I'm saying? And now he do, he's a mechanic, he's a mobile mechanic, he come and change your oil at your house, your job, your school. In the convenience of you still living your life, you don't have to go to no local Valvoline, Jiffy Lube, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, or Mobile One stop to go get an oil change. He come right, he pull up right up on you. We call it royalty service. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
it's always been a blessing, man. It's always been a blessing.
Man, and that's something like in my area, South Mississippi, we have zero mobile mechanics. And I tell guys all the time that do mechanic work, start a mobile business, start a mobile business. Because honestly, I would use them. I would never take my car to the shop again. I would have my mobile mechanic to come to my house and the money would be waiting on them. But it's,
Right.
yeah, yeah. And it's crazy, man, because how you found a niche and you just ran with it, man. And that's smart, man. That is smart.
Yeah, man. Listen, I kid you not. When I first started the business, it took off like a rocket. I
Wow.
had no speed bumps, no nothing. Like it took off, and once it got out of the space, it was on cruise control from there, man. It was on cruise
Wow.
control from there, and it's so crazy that for us, like we went through the COVID era. I made more money during COVID than I made any other year being in business.
Wow. Wow. Now, do you think if that wouldn't have happened with your job, do you think you'd have still been on that job and you would have never started your business?
I probably eventually started it, but I wouldn't have started it right then and there
Hmm.
back in 2018. I would have eventually started it somewhere, somehow, but it's like, because I always know, like, okay, my time is coming. Um, I ain't doing this forever working for somebody else or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
But, everything happened on God's timing, and it was meant to happen when it had to happen, and
Hmm.
I'm just blessed and I'm grateful for it. And if I had, like I said, if I had to do it all over again, there's nothing I would change because it
Wow.
made my business the way it is right now, what it is. And I'm loving it, man. I get so many. I got on Google reviews, like it's phenomenal right now. We got at least 100 of them, and people
Wow.
give their testimonies on the services they receive from us. And these are real deal people. There's not no paid individuals, actors, or nothing like that. These are real life people that we encounter, and we have been able to put smile on their faces, leaving them when we first met them having troubles in their areas of services that they inquired about.
Wow. Man, that's awesome. Now, out of now when you first took that initial leap, because fear holds a lot of people back. Why didn't fear hold you back in that moment?
Because at the end of the day, I know I was a father first, and I had to provide one way or another. I
Mm.
had to keep a roof. I had to keep a roof over my kids' head, food on the table, clothes on their back. Regardless if I didn't get no meal for days or weeks at a time, I had to make sure that they were straight because I know what I was fighting up against. Because at the end of the day, being a father who has custody and fought to be in his child's life,
Hmm.
it comes with a lot of supervision. Like you have a lot of eyes on you. They're expecting you to fail. They're expecting you to do something wrong just for you to lose what you fought for
Mm.
in being a father to your children. So like there was no failure. Failure
Mm.
was not an option. Fear
Mm.
was not an option. I
Mm.
took everything that I had and I invested it into the business, like every single dollar. I poured into the business, and even when I was making the money, I was pouring it back into the business until I felt like it was a flourish enough where I had it at a certain point where I know that okay, now I don't need to invest my personal money. Let the business invest in itself and build itself day by day, week by week, and month by month.
Right, right. Cause man, when I was when I was scrolling through your page, what I seen you do, I seen you cutting grass, I seen you pressure washing, I seen you doing auto repair, office space modeling, mounting a TV, and last but not least, I seen you put a sunroof on a guy's car.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Man. Listen, I've been so talented, and I'm blessed to be able to have all these skills and never step foot in somebody's school to learn them.
Wow.
Everything was self-taught. Everything was self-taught, man. And you don't come across individuals like that every day. You know
Nah,
what I'm
you
saying?
don't.
So I'm great. I'm grateful for it. I'm definitely grateful for it, man.
Right. Now, out of all of those businesses, well, out of all of those skills, which one is your bread and butter? Like what profits you the most?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Everyone has
Wow.
their timing.
Wow.
Everyone have their rotation. It's like it could be 1 minute, it could be the auto services that's just like flourishing and just skyrocketing and boom boom. And then next minute that just like kind of thumbed down and kind of stepped to the side and then boom you got the remodeling services because there's anywhere from a small job being like with just labor involved in it and the person and providing the materials of course you probably $500 and then you got the bigger jobs and bigger in remodeling where we can see an average anywhere from $10,000 to $17,000. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the super scale up remodeling service where we now dealing with businesses and
Hmm.
going inside these businesses and revamping them, like breaking them down to the nitty gritty and building them up, like creating maybe 16 suites in one building. So and that's up in the 40, 50, $60,000 range type of
Mm.
ordeal on a turnaround when the job is said and done.
Mm. Now, somebody told me once, they said if you can fix other people's problems, you will never be broke.
Facts. That is true. That is true.
Wow. Wow.
That is true, man. Because I mean, you got your slow days. You gonna run across your slow days and everything like that, and that's just what come with the territory. I'm just so blessed enough to be able to say that I provide so many different services that somebody calling this phone tomorrow.
Right.
Somebody.
Right.
It might not be for all the departments, but one of the departments somebody needs service from and that phone will ring. So that service can be requested, appointment could be set, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. So now is it more of is it still more word of mouth or do you do some kind of advertising now?
Man, there's a lot of word of mouth going
Okay.
on. You know what I'm saying? I learn. I try to still remind myself, remember where you came from, because when you wasn't irrelevant, you wasn't noticeable. So now
Mm.
that you're irrelevant, stay irrelevant by every now and then just post what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Just
Mm-hmm.
post a typical job that you want and everything like that. Just as a reminder, letting people know you still here. You ain't gone nowhere because like they say, um, the first 3 years being in business is gonna be your toughest years,
Mm-hmm.
and if you survive them, that means your business gonna is destined to flourish and will be around for a long time unless you decide to run it down into the ground.
Mm. That's true. What was the deciding factor for you to hire your first employee?
When I said that Rome wasn't built by one individual overnight.
Mm.
It took a team, and it took many years to get to where it was at. And if I want a Fortune 500 company, I got to bring in a team. I got to bring
That's
in
right.
individual that's hungry, that also are developing their skills, the skill sets in doing what they do in they line of work, and let them join the team to know that we treat our customers as family, and we treat each other as such as family. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like rewarding when you get the job and you get it done and you move on to the next one and the next one after that. and just the reputation that the business gained, because is always tending that the bigger companies tend to forget about the workers because they're pretty much not the face of the company,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't want to keep the company rolling because without them, who's doing the jobs? You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Who's out there, representing your company and doing the work for you and stuff like that, being that you want to build a team and no longer want to just it be you doing every single thing, as if you're being greedy in another
Mm-hmm.
sense and don't want to share the dollar that's coming to you. So, I felt like it had to happen. I
Mm-hmm.
just had to pray about it, and I had just had to wait patiently to the right time, and it happened for the best.
Wow. What's what's one thing in business that you had to learn the hard way?
Stop putting my heart into it.
Mm.
Uh, you, you don't mix your heart with business, doing business because people are like tend to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Learn that you only can put a certain amount of your heart when it comes to doing business with other individuals. And reason being because it is a gatekeeper to the number one reason why businesses go out of business because they had their heart so involved in it, and then you come across these customers that give you these sob stories, and boom, you fall for it. And little do you know down the line that hey, they ain't even got the funds to cover what they just hired you to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true. Do you think I hear people say this, and I experienced it with my own business. Do you think people can kind of see that you're new in business and think, "Oh man, I can get more, I can get a bang for my buck," because he really don't know. Do you think that's true or?
in a sense, it is true. When me, I explain it to you this way. Like with me, like I'm very a people person when it comes to analyzing people body
Mm-hmm.
language and movement and stuff like that. So for me, like I can scope a person out and tell you what type of time they're on. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And for me, that's always been a blessing for me because it dictates what customer and how I want to deal with them when it came to that sort of ordeal. So I've never allowed a customer to take advantage of me to the point where I couldn't stand on my own 2 feet and make things happen. So it just for me it saved me because of that, and that's just one of the tools I've been able to use ever since then.
Okay. What's one of the worst what's one of the worst customers you ever ran across in your line of work?
Um, I tell you about this one customer, and this is a customer that, unfortunately, I had to take them to court to sue them.
Mm.
So I had this one individual. It was a wife and a husband, and there was another guy that's sort of in my field, line of field, do what I do, but he does epoxy as well. So he plugged me in on these individuals, and it was like, there was no problem at the beginning. I did the assessment walkthrough and everything. So they wanted to remodel their master bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
which had like it was. I'm telling you, this bathroom wasn't like your ordinary, normal size bathroom. It had a full size jacuzzi in it.
Mm.
It had the shower. It had the his and her side, like on the opposite side of the wall
Wow.
from each other, so it wasn't on the same wall. It was on the opposite wall of each other, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, so that that whole time it's just been like she been nitpicking at little things that she's been wanting to change around. And I told her, ma'am, you're more than welcome to change these things around. Not a problem. But I do have to let you know that you making modifications from the original invoice and the original agreement that means that agreement is now voided, and we have to re-summarize everything and
Mm-hmm.
add what you want to put on there now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's only right and it's only fair because you're making changes. That means you're adding more time. And by you doing those two things, it interrupted the time of the job and stuff like that, which we had no problem with. But when it came to the end of paying the amount of money, it became a hassle because she argued about it, and she take it up to her husband, and her husband, was there, and I explained to him like, listen, it's your wife changing things, and she not communicating with you, not knowing that the bill is about to be paid by you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, like, we gonna just have to deal with this bill and get it covered so that everybody else involved is free, sky, and clear, and they don't have to worry about nothing. We good and golden.
Mm-hmm. Does do you have other success stories like when you take somebody to court that you get your money in the end? Of you, or have you taken somebody to court and you've never gotten your money?
I mean, I tell you what, I've taken multiple people to court, and out of the multiple people to court, I've taken this one individual, like the same lady that just kept changing things. I took them to court, and the simple facts how I broke it down in detail for detail with with the judge and everything like that, letting them know, hey, we stay right off of Hazel. Uh, um, we I got lost in my track right quick, but
No, that's
no,
fine.
we so but so it's like for me it was like it was a victory because they was expecting my company to supply them with the labor, but at the same time supply them with the stuff to make the job happen. Like say for instance, mounting floating wall
Mm-hmm.
vanities.
Mm-hmm.
Now they had these custom wall vanities that they just I'm talking about phenomenal. They look amazing, but they had to be mounted on the wall, and the plumbing was the difficult part of it because once we did the remodeling in the bathroom, the walls was already closed. We did what we needed to do with the plumbing, but when we came to run across these vanities, not knowing how much of a small area they allowed us to have to play with, we had to reopen the walls again and relocate the plumbing, put them in different places. And when you're dealing with plumbing, you either going to deal with it on a drywall or you're going to deal with it off of a concrete wall. And then when you go to a concrete wall, now you got to cut open the concrete wall, and it's a lot difficult than
Mm-hmm.
dealing with a drywall. So it's like it was so much effort to put into it to make sure that the job was right. And then on the back of the vanity is only so much of a hole that's there existing when they, the manufacturer build these folding shelves, so you can have room to plug in the drains and stuff like that, and the hot water supply, the cold water supply. So it's like, it's like they want us to have the nails, provide them with the nails, pay for the nails ourselves. They want us to provide the mudding when the drywalls need to be closed. They want us to provide the drywall and the drywall screws. So it was like it was unfair to us. And when I explained that to the judge, letting them know that when you buy a vanity from Home Depot, it doesn't come with screws to mount it on the wall. You
Right.
got to purchase that separately. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? When you buy paint from Home Depot, it doesn't come with a handyman automatically that's gonna paint your house for free. You gotta pay for that
Right.
individually. You know what I'm saying? It
Right.
just makes sense.
It does. Now, how did you get your pricing down pack? Like for this, or did it take a little time to get your pricing?
I mean, like, I did start it off low, which was underbidding myself and everything like that. But I wanted to get comfortable. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to get complacent. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to get comfortable within the prices I was charging. So therefore, I would just sit there and just do my little homework, do my little research and stuff like that, look things up, and just make it for the better, for the worse. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I've always been a hand-on individual. So by me learning is actually doing the work. And that just helped me out at so many levels, so many aspects. I don't even have room to complain about anything at all.
Mm. Now, let me ask you: have you ever ran across, let's say, let's say somebody wants you to put a new vanity in their bathroom, and let's just say you did. They buy all the materials, you do the job for $200. Have you ran across? You like, hold up, man, this really worth 800. Have you ran across where you done it for this person for 200? Fast forward a few years, that same person call you back for more work, and you give them the price, and they're like, hold up, man, you charging a lot now. Have you ran across that?
Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely. And I've had to explain to them like, listen, man. And then the world is evolving and materials are evolving. That means the prices are going up constantly and stuff like that. So
Yeah, did you? Because I know you'll have some people that's like they know you when you started out, and like now that you have all this experience under your belt, they don't really see you as worth that new price that you have. Do you have any? Do you still
right.
have any day one clients?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I got clients that started with me the first that's been with me since the first week I started doing the business and stuck around and still to this day call me for services
Okay.
because they got so so attached to me and how I operate things and how I do my business and provide the services that they rather deal with me. They rather wait even if I'm like on a stretch where it
Hmm.
could be like a 2 3 week out job delay
Mm-hmm.
purpose, and they just gotta be patient and wait. They don't mind doing it. They
Hmm.
don't mind doing it because it's always been known quality over quantity.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, you could have multiple people inside your house, but then again, now you're left with a whole bunch of dirty shoes, John, and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So it's like you don't want to deal with that. So you want to keep it straightforward, flush. I've never been afraid to tell a customer, listen, no, I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. But if I have somebody who's knowledgeable and I know they're going to treat them the way I would treat them,
Hmm.
I pass them on. I have
Okay.
no problem. I pass them on.
Okay. Do you have a slow season with your businesses, or everything flows?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
it would be our slow season is projected to always been January, February. For some odd reason,
Okay.
we can't put our finger on it why is that way. But even though that's around tax time and everything like that, and people still be waiting on their return. So for us, it just be that area of time, um, just where we at and where we
Okay.
hit slow season. It just be like in January. It'll be towards the end of the December, but it's like within that first week, it might even not hit us that first day, but it'll probably be like maybe a Saturday, sometime maybe a Sunday or something like that. And once that's down pat, you just know that hey, I gotta save for a rainy tomorrow because here's January, here's February coming up.
Hmm.
We're not gonna get a lot of revenue coming in, so we gotta constantly be putting ourselves out there, as far as a hat, outfit, and just going by people's houses and just giving them those.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, where do you see your business in 5 years, and where do you see your business in 10 years?
Honestly, I see in 5 years, I see the business growing to start covering other areas such as, you know, what it is for me is like, okay, so for the 5 years, I see like, all right, we're gonna be in areas where we're going to be out of the county.
Hmm.
So in Florida, you got the counties, and there's multiple county on the west end of Florida. Then you got this going up north towards out of state, which is the next state is for us would be Georgia. Then you have down south, which is like Miami Beach area, stuff like that, that has different counties. You
Mm-hmm.
have Broward County, you got the Pompano, stuff like that. So for us, it's like transitioning and growing into those areas and covering those areas eventually. Um, well, of course, we know that we're going to have like competition of that nature, but that's just what it is. But we're going to always continue to push forward, to go forward. But as far as 10 years, I see that we're getting a lot closer to working with the corporate world. And when you deal with the corporate world, that's longevity. You looking at the net 30, net 40, net 60s, and net 20s. So with that is like a system that they have where they pay you in a certain amount of time, but it's convenient for the company. So that could help us transition big time in the 10-year mark to be able to have, say, we have our station house office in this location and we have one in that location, and we constantly keep on going up towards up north to make it happen where our 10-year mark will be a phenomenal mark for us. So it will work out just how it's supposed to.
Wow. Now, is competition a factor for you in your immediate area, or
Not necessarily because we're versatile.
right?
So at the end of the day, you can find somebody to do your brakes. It's not gonna hurt us at all because
Okay. Okay. Now, is there any books that you're currently reading or any motivational speakers you currently listen to?
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Motivational speakers is where I go to. Book reading books has not always been my thing
Mm-hmm.
subject in school,
Mm-hmm.
and also it's like reading ain't never been my subject, even though you got to read, of course, to understand the question of what it means,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to lay down the essay and stuff like that, you got to read it to understand it. But for me, it'd be the audio version, and that's
Mm.
been the phenomenal help for me. And the person that I look up to and admire a lot, and listen to a lot, is Les Brown.
Mm.
Man, he just has it down packed. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I gotta eat. I won't let no one stop my show. So,
Right.
it's been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal just listening to his words, and it just does something to the body that when you walk out that door, you feel like a totally different person.
Wow. Do you have any mentors in your business?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I am my mentor besides God pouring into it.
Awesome. Awesome. Who has been the biggest supporter for you so far in your business journey?
Be honest with you, is gonna be my tax preparer.
Mm.
That used to prepare my taxes for me for the last 5 years. Um, he did he has gone on other adventures as far as becoming a truck driver, but for me, it's like it's been him. Like he's been keeping us in the role and everything like that. We don't always have to talk, but he's always making sure things on the up and up for us and for our position within the business.
Wow. Wow. Now, do you sleep better at night knowing that you're working for yourself versus when you had your job?
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yes, most definitely, most definitely. I mean, do I look into working for someone? I mean, you're gonna have those times where you may not be progressing or you're not providing as you should. So you want to step in and start giving a helping hand and doing what you got to do to make the system run smooth and be all over the place, bumpy or whatever the case may be.
Okay. Now, what made you start doing the toy drive giveaway?
For us, we always love to give back to the community. You know what I'm saying? For me being raised as a single parent child and knowing how tough it was for my mother to work three jobs just to keep roof over the head and food on the table and what I'm saying, clothes on our backs. I've always said that there's parents out there that they try so hard to do what they can do. and they don't have no help or anything like that. So it's like it's only fair because with the nonprofit organization that I'm with, the cheerleading and football program, we invest in the kids there. So why not come up with something where we can just invest and make it happen? They don't have to be a permanent location, but we could just pinpoint it with the shopping plaza, and it'll be golden. So for us, it's just to move around. Is to move around, having to carry it. But
All right. A couple more questions, and we're gonna get you out of here. Have you
okay.
have you ever had somebody come up to you and say, or it can be anybody you know, and say, "Man, it must be nice, man, to work for yourself and run your own business."
Oh yeah, plenty of times, all the time. Matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? Like how it feels to be your own boss. It feels amazing, but at the same time, what y'all fail to realize, us being entrepreneurs, we ain't got no 9 to 5. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? We don't have those 9 to 5. Our 9 to 5 is 12 and 11. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So
Never
it
stop.
just makes sense. Yeah, never stop. It keep on going. So you just gotta be mindful of that, and just do what it do.
That's true. Now, if you had a guy come up to you and say, "Hey, man, I want to do exactly what it is you're doing," what's one piece of advice you can give
I tell you, listen, this ain't for the weak.
him?
This is not for the weak. If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna be 100% thorough about it, I'll tell you what, you come up here and you do what you need to do. Uh,
Wow, that's true, man. It's entrepreneurship is not for the weak, and I think people they'll see you on your day one, and then they'll see you again at maybe day 361, and they'll think, man, that look easy, I can do it. And I think a lot of people fail to realize what it really takes to be your own boss, to work for yourself, because all you have is you. It's you versus you.
Facts, exactly. You your worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you don't put in, you can expect having a result of receiving. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So for that matter, like, you just gotta sit there, you gotta be consistent, you gotta pour into it, you gotta pray about it. The first time you do it may not work. You might have to transition and just keep trying to other venues to locate yourself. So once you do that, now you're able to construct what you need without being, what you need. So,
Yeah, that's true. Man, you want to plug your socials before we get up out of here?
oh yeah, we show can, man. Listen, man, y'all can catch us on Facebook, Bless Street Mobile Services. Y'all can catch us on Instagram, BTS underscore Mobile Services LLC. Snapchat, the real BTS, and as well as uh Google as well. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could just bless in the streets, simple as that. You know what I'm saying? And we're pretty much everywhere. All you got to do is just type in the name, bless in the streets, mobile services, and you'll catch us in traffic,
Hmm.
never on the bench.
Wow, wow. Y'all go check them out. They got some awesome videos. Your vans look good, man. Everything wrapped. Man, you're doing awesome. You're doing awesome. Keep up the good work.
Yep, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yes, sir. Again, thanks for coming on this podcast. I really appreciate your time, sir. Thank you. It means a lot.
Thank you for having us, man. Listen, man, it's the least we could do, man. We always want to uplift the younger generation and any generation that's willing to put in forth of, following a dream and stepping out of faith and doing what they need to do to make it succeed and successful. We all look for it, man. Brotherhood, man. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. Thanks again and enjoy your night.
You too.
Thank you. Let's give that guy a round of applause. I want y'all to listen to this. This is some of the services they offer. air and cabin filter replacement, air conditioning, auto engine diagnostics, battery, brake and service repair, brakes, electrical repair, oil change, steering and suspension, tires, transmission repair, auto repair technician, engine fixing, free estimates, handyman services, installation services, lawn maintenance. He did say he got rid of the lawn maintenance division, lockout, mobile auto, mounting TVs on walls, like remodeling. This guy phone will always ring. This guy phone will always ring. It will never not ring. And that's what you want to do when you start a business. You want to put yourself in a position to where your phone will always ring. Always ring. And as you heard him say, he put his faith in the Lord and he jumped out there and he just been climbing to the moon ever since. I told y'all, if you are living in your purpose, you will not starve. If you continue to punch a clock and keep your head down, you will not get anywhere. You will only touch the surface because you're not living in your purpose. Listen, I've tried it, people. I've tried it. Welding for 10 years on somebody's job, working 7 days a week. Only thing it got me was I was able to pay my bills, put a little bit of food on the table, but I wasn't able to save much. You want to know why the reason that is? Because I wasn't living in my purpose. And you may say, well, man, this other guy was able to do the same thing and save a bunch. Because you may not know his purpose was maybe to do something outside of that job, like maybe being a football coach and educating kids and motivating the kids. So it was enough for him. You don't know, but I do know this: time and chance happen to them all. Everybody has a time and a chance to be great. It's up to you to decide if you want to be great. Now, you can come up with every excuse in the world on why you can't be great or why you can't do something. Sounds like to me the cards were stacked against this young man, but he came out fighting and swinging. And now he has a business that's not only providing for him, but for his employees as well. So look, I'm your host, Micah Gibson. This is the Valley to the Mountaintop podcast. What is your valley? And will you make it to your mountaintop? Catch y'all on the next one.